Well, I'm teaching Mesa writing units that our district has adopted, and we were at the section where we're doing realistic fiction. We had just finished several units or a couple units on personal narrative. And so I'm always looking for ways for students to be more engaged in writing and having more authentic purposes for their writing. So, and as I'm trying to get more technology integrated in my classroom, we thought about taking one of the students' writing and coming up with a little group that could work on that piece of writing and turn it into some kind of project, video project or play or something like that that could be shared with others. So we did peer review.
Yeah.
And then after I looked at their review, I picked one writing from each one of my classes to that had potential, but that student could be benefited by some other writers helping them take it to the next level. And so I gave them some guided questions as they went through the writing, maybe focused questions that they could be thinking about, well, what did you mean by this, and does this make sense, and so that there could be more clarity in the writing. One thing I'm realizing and planning is that as teachers we've been taught to have clear objectives, then develop an activity, and then have a clear sense of how you're evaluating it. And I'm finding that that doesn't work necessarily that well, because what works better for me is not necessarily a linear way of planning, but more of a cyclical or reciprocal way of planning that you have to keep going back and keep going back. Well, that didn't work, or that did work. Now I'm going to take that idea forward. And this is kind of what's happening with this, what has happened with this project, because I thought, my goal was that kids would become more engaged in writing, which definitely has happened, but there's other implications that have come about because of that, realizations that students have had that have taken my plan in a completely different direction, because I thought this was an end product, and kids are saying, why couldn't we start with a video? It makes more sense. We would understand how the story goes from beginning to end if we started with a video first and then we wrote about the story. And it was just a real a light bulb moment for me that, okay, best laid plans, you really have to be flexible enough to say, that's brilliant, I'm going to do that next time, or instead of, let's do that this time.
I just gotta tell you, this is my first time filming, and I love this.
Awesome.
Same with me. Same with all of us.
Yep.
They learn that the teacher isn't the only one to get information from. They learn how to access information or question answered from other resources in the classroom. It might be a poster on the wall, it might be another student, but they learn how to navigate to help solve their own problems in the classroom environment. The other thing is the kids have to really understand that they can take risks, and they're trusted in their risk taking. So that sense of I'm safe here, that my thinking will be honored, and even if it's not the right answer, we'll talk about how did you get that answer, and then maybe give them other ways to think about. as a teacher, I think one of the things that students really need to realize is how passionate you are as a learner. And when they see that passion in you, and they see how you personally, they're witnessing you're striving to do better, to learn more. I'm always telling the kids, I haven't quite figured this out yet, but I want to give this a try. And so they see me stretching my own thinking. Then they know that that's the expectation I'm expecting them to.
So, was this story hard?
A little bit. In some parts, it was kind of easy. Some parts, it was hard.
Assessment is a huge issue for teachers, and we're always very careful about how we're assessing so that we know what to do next for our students. Of course, their basic writing was assessed by a standard rubric, but with this particular project, I was using it more as a pilot to see, okay, how would using technology maybe change their engagement in writing? How would it change their attitude about writing? And the thing that I've seen since I've started to use technology, either recording their stories or doing this project with a movie format, is that they want to write. They want their project to be picked to do this. And so I've had kids say, could I stay in for recess and finish my writing? Would you stay after school and help me with my story? I want my story on the website. So that engagement piece is huge. And for writing, which I think is one of the most difficult areas for kids to achieve in, it makes a big difference if they're wanting to do it, if they have an authentic reason to do it. It makes a huge difference in how they're performing within that discipline.
Orange hair and looked like a bully. Two was nice and offered a pet bird for Drake, but Drake
If I were to assess this project, did I achieve the goals that I had set out? I feel absolutely, because my overarching goal was to provide an authentic purpose for writing. Now, as an educator, I need to go back and look at this multiple times to kind of unpack what really happened. What did they really learn? And when you see a child so passionate about his character and his vision for his character, and realizing that, I think that there's no price you can put on that. When you see a child who has a lot of difficulty processing story, just the structure of story, and you see other students help him realize that story has a beginning, middle, and end, and that those parts have predictable pieces to it. That's a priceless piece. So yes, I achieved my goal of creating an authentic purpose, and that the kids were engaged and they loved the process. But it's going to take me a while to really unpack the depth of learning that happened in this project.